We wanted to show you guys a bunch of quests you might miss if you're not paying attention to the details. Don't worry though, I'm not going to spoil the actual quest. I'm just going to show you where you can find them and some relevant context as to what you're going to be up to. If you find all of that too spoilery, then here's your warning. We have a lot of Oblivion content on the channel and a hell of a lot more to come, so consider subbing. The first quest we have is east of Kavage, just on the road that runs from Skingrad. There you'll find a little rundown place called Shetcombe Farm. Blink and you'll miss it. Seriously, it's one of those spots that most players just pass without a second thought, especially since it's right by Kavage and obviously they're having issues. But if you step inside and poke around, you'll uncover the beginnings of a strange and tragic trail. Let's just say it all starts off with a cryptic journal entry and a lot of ominous vibes tied to the aftermath of Kavage's destruction. Follow the clues and you'll eventually be led to Sandstone Cavern. What starts as a simple investigation spirals into a descent involving forgotten gods, hidden shrines, and something unnatural waiting at the end. It's entirely environmental and really easy to miss. It's a really interesting quest, so don't forget to just run into this house on your way to starting the main quest.
It seems someone has taken away an heirloom that is quite dear to me. I want you to help me recover a stolen painting.
This one's a classic whodunit that most people miss because there's no dungeon and no fighting, as well as no glowing quest marker leading you anywhere, which is why we love it. If you swing by Castle Coral and chat with the Countess, she might pull you aside and ask for help solving a very personal mystery. But she's not going to bother if she doesn't like you, so make sure her disposition is at least 50 before you try.
I'm sorry, but the investigation is a secret, and I don't trust you enough to discuss it with you.
What follows is basically you stepping inside the shoes of a fantasy detective. You'll need to interview 5 people around the castle, dig into their routines, and piece together who might have snuck off with a missing painting that meant a lot to the Countess.
So, you a living statue, or are you gonna say something?
It's honestly poking around private quarters, uncovering secrets, and putting pressure on people until the truth slips out. Here's a quick little tip. You're going to want to explore every inch of the West Tower and pay attention to details. There's no combat, it's just solid investigative work that feels really unique in Oblivion. Depending on how you handle it, the ending can shift a bit. So if you're someone who loves a bit of subtle role-playing and solving mysteries, try and not skip this one.
How dare you accuse me without enough evidence to back up your story?
Excuse me, we have a small problem that we hope you can help us with. You may be wondering why you can't see me. We are all wondering the same thing.
All is well in Ellswell. Well, not really. Just north of the Imperial City, if you're wandering along the Red Ring Road, you might stumble across a little place called Ellswell, except it looks totally abandoned. But if you head inside the inn, you'll be greeted by a voice. No body, just a voice. Turns out the whole village has been turned invisible, and no one knows exactly why. The innkeeper suspects that a certain eccentric wizard messing around in a nearby ruin might be the cause. To get to the bottom of it, you'll need to make your way to the fort, which isn't far away from Ellswell. I'll give you another quick tip. Bring a detect life spell if you've got one. You'll need it. Eventually you'll end up meeting an NPC who's a very interesting guy. I won't go on about how the quest might finish up, just know that at the end of this one, you actually get something pretty cool. It's a classic Oblivion quest, but a lot of people tend to miss it, for a good reason.
Yes, I have been working on a new invisibility spell. As you can see, it works quite well.
This one is quick because I don't want to spoil the experience. Basically, head down onto the waterfront in the Imperial City. Usually you come here, see some boats, and go, okay, that's cool, and never let me think about that again. But stop. Head into the bloated float located right here. It's basically a hotel on the water. Now you need to order yourself a room. And I'm sure you can see why most people never experience this quest. Who the hell comes here and gets a room and then you need to sleep in that said room? Next thing you know though, you're on an unexpected voyage. Get it? That's the quest name. It's pretty cool though, so go check it out. This one starts off simple, but ends up leading to something way bigger if you keep following the threads. If you hang around Coral and start chatting with the townsfolk, you'll eventually hear something strange.
I was in Cheydinhall last week, and I'm sure I saw Renaud Germaine. He acted like he didn't know me, though.
People are saying they've seen Renaud Germaine in Cheydinhall, but when they talked to him, he acted off. Thing is, Renaud actually lives in Coral and claims he hasn't gone anywhere. So either people are seeing things or something strange is definitely going on. When you bring it up with Reynald, he seems just as confused, but he's curious enough to hand you some gold and send you off to Shadenhall to get to the bottom of it. Once you get to Shadenhall, ask around and you'll be pointed toward a guy named Gilbert Germaine. And let's just say, Gilbert looks very familiar. And there's a whole lot more to the Germaine family than meets the eye. From there, you'll help reunite the brothers and kick off a deeper storyline that continues in another quest. It's one of those early game quests that feels small at first, but it sets something up crazy later down the line. And I love Oblivion for this type of shit. It's incredibly easy to miss if you don't talk to the random NPCs in Coral, so make sure you do. This might be the most important quest in Oblivion that you can miss, potentially in the entire game, the Potato Snatcher.
Potatoes!
If you're making your way down the Green Road south of the Imperial City, you might spot a cozy little place called the Fairgill Inn. Stop in and you'll meet a Khajiit named Sagira, who is in absolute distress. Why? Because someone stole her jumbo potatoes. Yeah, really. But it wasn't just anyone. She swears it was a huge figure that bolted off into the wilds with them. Personally, if I was in this situation, I might just say good luck, but I guess it is what it is. Follow the trail west, well, more like northwest, Sagira's sense of direction isn't great, and then eventually you'll track down the thief. Trust me, you're not ready to find out who the thief is. The reward for this one is a unique item in the game, and it's super important. Take my word for it.
This one's a secret side quest that doesn't even show up in your journal, so if you're not paying attention, you'll walk right past it. Don't do that because you'll end up missing out on a treasure hunt, and everybody likes one of those. While you're doing the Lifting the Veil quest, the one that eventually takes you to Pale Pass, there's a treasure trail hidden around the ruins. You'll know you found it when you find a frozen barrel near one of the towers stuffed with a note from a thief. From there, it turns into a 4-part treasure hunt. Each container gives you a key that leads to the next one. It's kind of a bastard of a quest because they're not marked, and they're buried in snow, hidden in grass, or behind rubble. If you stick with it and find all 4, you'll be rewarded with a ring that is pretty ridiculous. Like for sure, you will want to do this quest and get this ring. It's not like the potato bread from earlier that I was being sarcastic about. Sorry, I guess that's a little spoilery. But yeah, you get some potato bread from the potato quest. Awesome.
I'm Castor Scribonia, the writer, author of Woman Gone Wild.
Not every quest in Oblivion is about slaying Daedra or uncovering ancient relics. Sometimes it's just about helping 2 lonely hearts find each other. In the city of Coral, if you strike up a conversation with local romance author Casta Scribonia, she'll drop some not so subtle hints that 2 people in town are perfect for each other, even if they haven't figured it out yet.
The proprietor of the Grey Mare is lovely.
She won't name names, but she'll plant the seed. Why is it that the people of Coral are this nosy? First the Germaine brothers and now this? Talk to Bitneld the Cursebringer. What a name. He's the captain of the guard and he's got some opinions about the town's women. Mostly that they're too stuck up. But if you bring up Emfrid, the sweet innkeeper at the Grey Mare, his tune might start to change. I'm sure you can see where this is going. Basically, it's up to you to play Hitch and see where this all goes. Another super easy one to miss because it doesn't show up in the journal and you have to hear about it. In Coral. Again.
There are a lot of fine-looking women in Coral, but they're all kind of snooty and not very nice.
This one hits a little harder than your average side quest. If you're out and about and in the wilderness northeast of the Imperial City, you might stumble on a lonely little homestead called Harm's Folly. There, you'll meet Cork Northwold, a grieving farmer who's just lost his wife under brutal circumstances. If you speak with him, you'll begin the quest, and it's a quest for justice. Turns out a nearby tribe of goblins was behind the attack, and they even took a precious keepsake from her. When all is said and done with this quest, make sure you come back here later and visit the gravesite again. You might just get a little reward for your deeds. There's this tiny refugee camp called Crestbridge in the forest southeast of Coral. A group of farmers had big dreams of starting a village called Cropsford, but those dreams came crashing down when they found themselves caught in the middle of a full-on goblin turf war. Talk to the folks at the camp and you'll find they're desperate for someone, anyone, to just step in and break up the chaos so they can go home. It turns out 2 rival goblin tribes are battling it out near the village, and it all revolves around a stolen tribal totem. What makes this quest extra cool is that after you resolve the situation, the village of Cropsford actually gets built over time. You can return later and see it slowly grow from a couple of wooden frames into a full little settlement. Plus, there's some other little goodies that keep returning as well, but I won't spoil that. Also, if you didn't know, the Goblin War shit goes deep. Like, there's a whole hidden system and mechanics involved in these goblin tribes and their wars. It's insane.
If you go far enough into the northern mountains of Cyrodiil, and I mean really far, you'll come across Old Dive Rock. It looks just like a scenic overlook. But look around the campsite and you'll find a worn out journal by the fire. The journal talks about some creature lurking nearby, which is a monster that was the stuff of nightmares even back in Solstheim. This writer came here with a mission and didn't survive to tell the tale. If you're brave enough to follow the trail, you'll find out what exactly happened, and possibly come face to face with the beast known only as the Horror of Dive Rock. Take it seriously though, this fight isn't exactly easy. This creature and these events also tie back into Morrowind's DLC Blood Moon, which is some pretty cool background lore. Trust me when I say do this one early on. The ring that you get as a reward is super useful and the quest is fairly easy. Here in the village of Way, there's an older fellow named Elwyn Marrowald pacing around his home. He's not looking for adventure, he just wants a little help with his retirement plan.
Who did I lose to? Who is my great enemy? Well, don't laugh. It's a bunch of damn fish.
Talk to him and he'll explain that he's collecting Remare slaughterfish scales, which is a rare ingredient he can sell to alchemists for a bit of coin. Problem is, the fish are mean, and he's not exactly up for a swim. You'll be heading out into Lake Remare, tracking down 12 of these angry fish. It's not too difficult, just a little patience, maybe a detect life spell to help spot them underwater, and a weapon that works well while swimming. The fish don't respawn or move around, so you can take your time and chip away at it whenever you're in the area. But like I said, try to get it done early. There's also some bonus dialogue here if you have sticky fingers, if you catch my drift.
If you ever stop by the Roxy Inn just north of the Imperial City, you might notice the innkeeper Malene seems a little on edge. Turns out there's a necromancer holed up in nearby Moss Rock Cavern, and her creepy experiments have been scaring away paying customers. Malene wants someone to handle it quietly, and if you offer to help, she'll point you in the right direction. It's a classic necromancer-esque quest, but it's easy to miss and I want you guys to complete everything in the game, because I know and you know that you want to. Easily one of my favorite quests in the entire game, and you guys have to check this one out. In Coral, you might run into a friendly Argonian named Dharma, but after she leaves town for a delivery run and doesn't come back, her mother starts to worry, and she asks you to help find out what happened. Your search will lead you to a strange, out-of-the-way village called Hactor, and right away, something feels off. The buildings are crumbling, the locals are hostile, and nobody wants to talk. Ask about Dharma and you'll get nothing but lies and some awkward stares. If you decide to do some digging on your own, you'll uncover some pretty disturbing stuff. Missing persons, odd rituals, and secret trapdoors. What starts off feeling like a simple rescue mission slowly reveals something much darker. And depending on how deep you get into the quest, you might find out a secret that the town tried very hard to bury. It feels like something out of a horror story, and I love it. There are some more quests that are easily missed in Oblivion, so if you guys want us to cover some more, just let us know in the comments. Also, maybe let us know your guys' favorite missable quests. And remember, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and we'll see you in the next.